Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and this is Thursday, February 21st. This is going to be a really quick chart lesson. I've already done this once, and while I was trying to upload it to YouTube, it failed, and I lost the video. So, I already done a 25-minute video that's just simply vanished into thin air. I don't know what happened, but there was some kind of error in the software, and it just automatically closed, and when it did, I lost the video. I hadn't, for some reason it didn't save or something. So, but needless to say, I'm going to do it again real quick and show you all the trades. We opened up in a down trade or downtrend. We broke that. Then we moved down to a new low. Then we kind of went in this trading range. You can see right here, we kind of broke lower, and now we're kind of back inside it. Are we going to stay inside it and work to the other side? I don't know. But let's just go ahead and talk about the trades. I wanted to kind of show you what I was looking at the opening this morning. The first real opportunity to go short, to enter after 7 was a short right here, and I was really tempted to go short because we're still looking for a retest after this break of this little channel. But you should have clearly had this channel already drawn, and it's really close there. If you'd have taken this, it would have worked. I'm pretty sure it would have worked. Your entry would have been 04 1/4, and you notice it went to 03, just enough to get you your 4-tick scalp, and you wouldn't have got anything else out of it. So it was tempting, but that's the first touch of the original breakout area up here, or first retest of it. Generally, you want to wait on a second entry, which didn't come to here, but then you've had all these bounces, and you're in this channel, and you had no break of it yet. So it was really, I'm going to talk about this. Make this a little bigger because there's really 2 trades there I want to talk about, 3 trades. But anyway, this was the first real opportunity to go long. I didn't like this one. Notice too, there's 3 overlapping bars. 2 of them are dojis, and you know our rule, that's congestion, and what happens when you break out of that, it normally snaps back, and that's what happened. But when this bounced right off the trend line, and you did kind of have a break here, you closed outside it. So you got a chance to go long right here. Easy scalp. It came right back and got the runner, so nothing special. But then it bounced here again. There was actually a chance to go short right here too, but because we were coming off this trend line and we were so close to it here, there's just not much room. I didn't feel like it was worth taking. I felt like it was better to wait on a second entry, and we never got the second entry. Notice that we went higher again. And so then you're waiting on another second entry, and it didn't come till down here, so then you're too low to go short. So anyway, the only trade here was a possible long. What I did was when this bar closed right here and it ticked 1 tick higher, I dropped a limit order in here. So I got long right here at these highs, and so that was just enough to scalp out. But if you went long above this bar, it was a 4-tick failure. And so when that ended as a doji, I would have exited. And you could have got out of this with 1 or 2 ticks, or definitely at break even when that broke lower. If you put your stop right there, you would have got out at break even at worst. But there's no reason not to get a tick or so out of that trade if you did go long right there and didn't, if you waited till above that bar. Your chart may look slightly different, and you might have got a little better entry. But luckily, I was lucky that's why I enter with a limit order sometime. But I'm going to talk about that before we end this video. But again, you had a chance to go short here too, and if you notice, you might have considered that a trend line break and 2 legs up to a new high. So it's time to sell off, but that was really risky going short there. You're better to wait on the second entry, and it didn't come to here. So I say that's no trade right there, and that's why I marked that in green, because there were, you could have been going multiple different directions there based on the rules, and it's so close to this high. It's just not a good place to be entering unless you went long right there. But that was the only legitimate trade, really, in my opinion. And if you'd taken it, that short, it would have failed on you. If you'd taken that one, then more power to you. It was a great trade, but I didn't think it was worth risking. I went long right there. I exited. I almost went short here, and it would have worked if I had of. But I didn't like this setup. It was too big a move, and we were in all this chop, and I was looking for it to pull back. You should have had your trend line drawn somewhere down across here. I wasn't sure exactly where it was going to be probably till I got this move down, and then I just copy that line and drag it up, and you can see we bounced right off of it. So then I mean, that's how I always find the line on one side or the other. You can usually get it. If you can't get it up here, then you might get it down here to help you find this one up here. And that's a second entry short. Notice 2 legs up, a nice little reversal bar. It's a double top at the EMA. It's right off the trend line. You got to take that one. And that was the setup to take. That was the move. I actually exited a little bit early. When we went to this overlap, I exited. There's a measured move there as well. You can see there's leg 1, and then there's your pullback, and then leg 2. So I was looking to exit right in here, and when that broke down and touched that line, I actually got out, I think, 2 ticks off that low. It went a little bit lower, but you can't take that risk. So a nice short. The runner's good for a couple of points, 3 points or a little more than 3 points, and then you get the reversal. But we hadn't had a break of the trend line. You notice there's no real setup for a short anywhere in there. And then by that time you're in all this chop. But I drew this line up here first, and I drug it down. So I was looking for a possible bounce right in there. And when we got that second entry long right there, what I did was drop the limit order down here before that second entry actually even triggered, because we were just in all this over chop. So I was expecting that if we did break lower, it would come back and I could probably still get a scalp out of it. But we've had the trend line break, we've had the move to a new low, so you're looking for a possible rally anyway, and I just think they got a lot of people trapped here, and this thing took off. Easy scalp. And again, you're looking to exit somewhere up here near this trend channel, somewhere maybe near here. So you start moving your stop up, and I got stopped out right there, 1 tick below that. And I considered going short here, but it really just was too risky with this being in this channel, because you figure it may come back and bounce. So I waited on the long here. Another easy scalp. But guess what? Then we tested this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's actually 3 bars, and it couldn't get a higher. But you don't want to go short yet because we haven't broke this trend channel. Just kind of similar over here. You want to wait on a second entry off of that double top there. There's no real setup, so wait on another one. And it didn't come to right here when it bounced off that trend line again. It's a double top. It's a second entry short. It failed out the low end of this stuff. It made that double top out the top. That's a nice reversal bar off the 10 line. Easy place to go short. Easy scalp. Again, no runner. They came right back and got the runners. But guess what? Then you got this big reversal bar right here. Chance to go short again. And runners, again, your runners are good for a few points. I actually exited in this overlap. So again, I gave up a point or so there. If you didn't exit here, you definitely probably should have considered exiting down here, because we hadn't been back to the EMA in a while. And then look, boom, it rushes up out of there. And you get another setup right here. Chance to go short, and another easy scalp. No runners on that one though. And now guess what? We broke below this low of this trading range that I pointed out, and we got back in it. And look at that reversal bar that tested it. You tested it a couple of times. Now we're headed higher again. My guess is we'll probably work back up here. We just have to see. But that was really it for today. And I did mark this one in green simply because there's 3 overlapping bars, and you got a doji in there. But it still was worth taking. It's a little more aggressive because it's of the overlap and the fact that it's not really a second entry. But look how many times we've turned down right there. There's been no break of this trend line yet. So it was worth taking, in my opinion. But I drew it in green for that reason. And that was all I took for the day. But I wanted to talk about one other thing, then I'm going to wrap it up. And the second video is going to be a little shorter than the first one. I moved through this because I've done this twice already. But I get a lot of questions about the limit orders, and you hear me talk about them. I hate to even talk about entering on limit orders because people ultimately want to try it, and they end up just losing. And you need to be somewhat familiar with price action. You need to be experienced at it, and you need to have a good eye for it. Otherwise, you need to be waiting on a signal bar that is also a trend bar in your direction. That's a signal bar that's a trend bar in your direction. There's one. Here's one up here. There's one going long. There's one going long. There's a nice one going long. But anyway, wait on a bar in your direction that sets up the trade. Don't just try to buy with limit orders unless you're really advanced and you're really good at it. You might watch trade and say, okay, what would happen if I put a limit order here? And when you start to see yourself getting pretty good at it, then you might try it on the simulator to see if you can do it. But don't try it just out of the blue. Wait till you got the experience, because you're just going to slow your other learning down and learning how to spot the reversals and things like that. So I don't recommend you do it until you're much more advanced and experienced. So, and also don't try to, one other thing is don't try to sneak in early. In other words, let me show you an example of that. Here's a good one right here. This bar, we came up here and touched this trend line, and then look what was happening. This bar opened up here and traded all the way down here, and it looked like it was going to be really bearish. So some of you might have started entering right here. It would have still worked out in this case, but what will happen a lot of times is you'll enter early, and then it closes on its high, and it breaks higher and goes higher, and you're like, hey, what happened? It looks so bearish. They'll do that a lot to trick you, and they'll do the same thing with a bar. It was looking really bearish down here with this little doji. It opened here, and it was trading down here, and somebody might have, of course, you wouldn't want to be selling down here anyway for other reasons, but I'm just trying to use this bar as an example. But then, boom, it bounces and closes on its high. Here's another one. It was trading way down here, very negative, but then by the time it closes, look what happened, it's reversing. And so there's another one. That was very bearish looking right there coming down here, and it was trading way down there, but then look, it almost closes on its high, and then it breaks higher. And it looks like we're headed to at least back up here to the top of the range. So don't try to sneak in early. Wait till the bar completes and looks like you want it, and then put your stop order just below it or just above it if you're going long. And that will save you a lot of headaches. That will help you to prove the trade. You'll get less failures that way, and you'll get tricked less often. So hopefully that makes sense to you. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back to do this tomorrow, and then we'll take the weekend off. But this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you on Friday.